are on to the second last Harry Potter movie, with the last book being adapted into 2 parts. Welcome to Laser Dude Ranks. I am Laser Dude, and we are on so close. I'm almost done with the Harry Potter movies, and you know they've been good. I've enjoyed them so far. I think that they are a good, decent attempt at making the Harry Potter franchise into it. I think, like, for most books, though, I just think they're probably going to make better TV shows. I just find that you'll probably be able to tell more of the stories and include more of the characters and just have more of a straightforward retelling without having to have everything so rushed. But I'm interested in seeing how this franchise comes to an end. Definitely Hallows Part 1. Now, there are some changes, obviously, that I've noticed in this, but I'm not going to harp too much about that. I think that the way that this movie splits it, I think, is done decently. You know, there's an emotional moment that it ends on, and it comes to a close on, and I'm just going to talk about it. Dobby finally shows up in this movie. I said in my last video that I think that he was gonna, like, show up at a funeral or something, but nope, he didn't. Was the funeral the end of the Half-Blood Prince, actually, now that I think about it? Anyway, I was like, no, Dobby just kind of shows up out of nowhere for no good reason. Like, they don't tell us who he's working for. They don't tell us if he, you know, like, was at Hogwarts or something. It's just all of a sudden, Creature comes back, and Dobby's there, and it's just like, why? Okay, Dobby is here to die. I really think it was a mistake, and I know that when they started these, the books weren't all done yet, but I really think it was a mistake not introducing Dobby earlier. Not that he needed to have a whole lot of screen time, just a scene or two to show that he's working at Hogwarts, and he comes up and interacts with Harry just a couple of times, quickly and shortly. That's all we would have needed for Dobby, and I feel like because he doesn't, it just feels like, hello, Harry, I'm here. Oh, I'm dead. Okay? You know, but however, he was still enjoyable, you know, he's still, oh, I just killed a fly on camera, that's actually pretty cool. Anyway, besides that, we got, you know, all of the characters back. We got Hermione, we got Ron, we got, you know, so much stuff. Now, I want to say the beginning is a little rushed, because all of these movies are a little rushed in the beginning. Like, we barely even know the new Minister of Magic before he's dead, but honestly, I think that's pretty normal, actually, I mean, that's pretty true to the book. He just kind of shows up, then he's dead. You know, one thing I will say about this is, like, I actually like how bleak it is. It's really, really bleak. Because I've been saying this to myself, is like one of the biggest problems with, like, superhero movies and franchises is that it actually seems easier to be a hero than it is a bad guy. And I feel like a really good story needs to feel like the bad guys always have the upper hand. You know, the bad guys have more of a chance of winning than the good guys do. And, you know, Lord of the Rings had that with its universe, and I feel like, you know, Harry Potter has that down with this. In the beginning scene where they are running away and get attacked by all the Death Eaters, like, that scene is really good, because, like, in my mind, I thought, like, they had, like, 1 or 2 on them each, so I thought there was, like, dozens of people. There was, like, almost like hundreds of Death Eaters all attacking them at the same time. It was, like, intense. It was really done well. I think that, you know, characters dying like at a good place. Like Moody, it kind of sucks we weren't able to see something, but I guess it's, you know, it's still, like, Harry didn't see anything, so it's like, why would we? It's interesting. Most of this time, the perspective of the movie is similar to the perspective of the book. It mostly stays only true to Harry's point of view. But we actually break from that in the beginning when we have Voldemort having a meeting with all of his people, and it's only told through Voldemort's point of view. And I want to say this has been Voldemort's best scene in the whole franchise. You know, he's had moments, but he's never been that intimidating to me. This scene, I love the way that he's like just talking shop about work stuff while there's just like a muggle, or I guess she's not a muggle, but she's like a muggle activist, just like hanging there being tortured while he's having a regular conversation. I really like that. It's just like a lot of people, like he's not even acknowledging her until later, but it's like everybody else are kind of like, just a little unease about that. I really do like that. Voldemort's wand troubles, I don't think that, like, when they clashed in the last time, when in the Goblet of Fire, when his wand didn't explode, I was like, when did that actually happen? Did that actually? But I know that did happen in the book, but I didn't remember why it was happening. I also say there are some weird choices for this movie, like, there's a moment where after Ron leaves, after he throws his hissy fit and leaves, after that, where Hermione and him are just like, things are very bleak, and some music comes on to the radio, and then they just dance. And I like that idea, actually, when things are at their darkest and, most depraved, just dance while the world is on fire, just be like, hey, here's a happy moment just for me. I don't like that Harry and Hermione danced together. It was almost like just another thing for the Harry-Hermione shippers. Just like, aha, here's a possibility, and then nothing happens with it. It's not like, Ron's not even there to see it, so it's not like it fuels his jealousy or anything. It's just like, it's there, and it's just like, I would have liked it both if they weren't dancing together, like arm in arm, if they were, because dancing always portrays intimacy. And Harry and Hermione have always made it clear that they've been friends. There hasn't even been a moment where Harry's had a lingering stare or anything like that. Nothing. And so the fact that they just have this one moment here is kind of weird, but it does kind of lead into, boy, I gotta say, nothing in this whole franchise that the movies have done has shocked me more than this one scene. I'm going to say, let's start with just talking about the best scene in the movie, which is the scene I'm talking about, is destroying of the Horcrux. Because, when this scene happened, like, I remember it feeling like, oh yeah, there was a big force that came out and, tried to tempt Ron, but Ron destroyed it. But it didn't feel like it was all that much of an effort. Okay, it didn't feel like it really was getting at Ron. It just felt like, oh, you're worthless. No, I'm not. Here, I tell you, the moment that locket opens up and this big black ooey gooey substance comes out of it, skulls are going all over. That was so intense. And then a version of Harry and Hermione come out and tell him how worthless he is and how he's never contributed to the group. And why would Hermione want him when Harry's right here? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty par for the course. And then they start kissing, and I'm just like, okay, still par for the course. And then they're freaking naked. And I tell you, nothing in this franchise, the movies that they've done so, has shocked me more than this scene. And you know what? I'm glad they did it. It's almost like, because if they didn't do it, if it wasn't to that extreme, now arguably you don't really see anything. They're too blurry and too smushed together to see any good look of any private parts or anything, but they're naked and they're basically having sex right there, like these images of them, and it to me it's just like the Dark Lord wouldn't pull his punches. Why would the Dark Lord show them in their underwear? It's like, why would he do that? Why would he be like, I'm evil, I'm an evil, terrible wizard that's going to show you something that's going to be terrifying and horrible to make you feel depressed and terrible about yourself, but I'm a little, I don't want to see nudity. It's like, it doesn't work that way. So, I kind of, it makes the scene feel even more impactful, and it's weird for me to say, because, like, I don't actually like nudity in movies. And as I say, you can't really see anything, but it's like, ugh, it's there, and it's just like, holy crap, the scene feels all the more impactful, and it feels all the more better when Ron is the one to slash it and destroy that Horcrux. So, yeah, it's like the animation on the effects coming out are great, and the shock value of what happened is like, oh my gosh, that is like, it took me aback. It took me like, I wasn't in my critical mind at that point thinking, well, they could have done this better, or this is good, and it was just like, holy crap, this has happened, what is going on? So yeah, that's definitely for me the best scene. For worst scene, I'm just gonna go, like, there wasn't a lot that was terrible. Like, Dobby's death scene was okay, but I felt like it could have been handled a little bit better. But it wasn't bad, so I didn't put that on the list. There's a couple of awkward moments. Like, as I said, with Dobby just showing up and saying, "Hi, I'm here." There's stuff like that comes like sort of herky-jerky awkward moments. But for worst scene, I decided to go with the thing that was just like worst scene in the books too, was Ron disappearing. And the reason I put this as worst in this and worst in the book too is because like every book from like Goblet of Fire on had like one of these three mad at each other and not talking to each other. First, Harry was mad at Ron, and then the next book, Ron and Hermione were mad at each other, and then in the next book maybe it was Harry. I don't know if Harry and Hermione ever got mad at it, but there was always somebody that was mad at the other person and they went on. And so, like, Ron leaving, at the very least, I kind of get it in here. I will say, I like that this movie doesn't have the kids' gloves, okay? It's to me, it's like when I read Lord of the Rings, or listened to the audiobook. I didn't finish it, but I listened to the first part of the audiobook for Lord of the Rings, and it's just like, Frodo, here's the ring. You must destroy it. Okay, but it'd be too suspicious if I left tonight. So I'm going to spend a whole year selling Bag End, moving to a different part of a different town, and then I'll sneak away. And I'm just like, what? Like, time is of the essence, people are dying, let's go now! Who cares if the town is suspicious? Nobody cares! That's what I liked about the original Lord of the Rings, where it's just like, oh yeah, let's go, and so this one had a little bit of that too, where there's the whole wedding scene, but they give a reason why Harry doesn't leave just yet, because he still has the magical trace on him, and so he doesn't want to get tracked down, because the minister has now been, has spies in it. And so, like, he can't leave just yet, and then the wedding happens, and then Death Eaters find a way to storm it and attack it, where in the original, they just kind of slip away, I think they just slip away into cover of darkness, and this one is a lot more like, oh, we gotta go now, and then they apparate away, and I think it works better that way, because I think, otherwise, why didn't they take Ginny? Ginny stays behind, but it's just like, Ginny was like Harry's girlfriend. He trusted her. She was a strong wizard on her own, or witch, I guess. Why not just take her? Where here it's just like there's so much panic, so much, and then they just disappear. I think that works better. For my favorite performance, there wasn't a lot that stood out to me. There was like Harry, Ron, and Hermione were all good. But there wasn't like a ton that like stood out, and none of the other characters or new characters got really a chance to shine or do anything. So I decided I'm actually going to give it to Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort, because the most intimidating that he's been in this series has been in this movie, where he is just, tormenting this woman while he's also like asking for a wand, and the fear and everything that he puts into everybody is really good, and I actually like his presence in the movie a lot more. So I would say that's definitely who I'm going to put it to. And then most magical moment. I almost put this also as the Horcrux, but that wasn't a nice magical moment. So I decided I'm actually going to put it as the telling of the Deathly Hallows. This is another thing that's been different, because they discuss the Deathly Hallows very early in the book and understand very quickly that Dumbledore wants them to find the Deathly Hallows. So, like, we don't find that out till, the Love Goods, but the scene itself I really like. I like the anime. I wish there was a way to show that this is how they were seeing, that Harry was seeing it too, because like the scene it like pans outside and we see the storytelling and this great animation, but I don't think we see them seeing it. I'm like, yeah, it's a magical your world. You probably could have done that. But still, I really like the story. I like the effect of it, and I like the effects on how Death looked at everybody. And now I want to say, how did I feel like the movie worked as the first part of a story? I think it works well because here we have another friend dying. Here we have, we finally have one Horcrux down. I wish I kind of had more of an idea of where to go next. If it's just like, okay, this is our mission. I don't think they have any leads on the next Horcrux, which I think they know is at Gringotts, but I guess they'll find that out in the next one. Which I guess it makes sense if you're going to end on the sad ending. It's not like you want to pause a little bit for some exposition. But I like how dark it is. I like how it's like things are getting worse as we get closer to trying to find it. Our allies keep on getting attacked and stuff. I'm surprised anybody went to Hogwarts just because... I'm just saying, if I had a bunch of evil wizards, taking over the world, I might keep my kid home from school. But, I guess these parents have never shown too much love for their kids because they always send them to Hogwarts no matter what crap is going on there. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I'm interested to see if the second part will work as well as its own part as the first one did. I think that overall this is a good one, but I'm gonna put it fairly middle of the ranking actually. I am putting the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Okay, I'm not gonna put it at number 1, 2, or 3. I'm not gonna put it at 7 or 6. It's between 4 and 5 for me. This is what I gotta ask myself, do I feel like it's better than Prisoner of Azkaban, or do I think Deathly Hallows, takes it out? And I feel like Prisoner of Azkaban, while it does have some stuff that I have a problem with it, I think it's more coherently its own story. So I'm actually gonna put Deathly Hallows Part 1 at number 5, and Prisoner of Azkaban number 4. And so the list right now is Order of the Phoenix number 1, Goblet of Fire number 2, Chamber of Secrets number 3, Prisoner of Azkaban number 4, Deathly Hallows Part 1 number 5, Half-Blood Prince at number 6, and the original Philosopher's Stone still at the bottom, number 7. So going into the final one will be interesting to see how that turns out. Alright, best scene. I'm going to put Destroying the Horcrux actually pretty high just because it really kept me engaged and I loved the look of it. I loved how far they went with it. So I'm going to put Destroying the Horcrux at number 3. I don't think it quite meets the emotional ness of the Harry Potter returning from his battle with Voldemort with Cedric Diggory's body. I don't think it matches that in terms of acting, but I think in terms of effects and tone, and I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to put that at number 3. Worst scene, I'm going to put Ron leaving the group. It's not that bad. It's just like, oh my gosh, we've seen Ron and Harry having pissing contests with each other and everything. And his is like, and this thing that turns off lights and collects lights also can teleport me? I don't know. That one was really weird. So I'm going to put Ron's Gone at number 5. I still think that scene with just Harry walking, trying to look like he's carrying Dudley, but Dudley's clearly basically carrying him. I think that's a dumber moment. For favorite performance, Voldemort, Ray finds Voldemort, I'm going to be putting at number 6 above Morning Myrtle. I think that it's good, but we don't get too much other scenes with him except for the janky... Oh, I gotta talk about that. we were definitely in the shaky cam era right then. Oh, I did not. There was only too bad. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad for most of me. There's that one chase scene in the woods where the shaky cam was egregious, and I'm just like, oh, this is just terrible. Terrible shaky cam. So, but yeah, anyway, Voldemort doesn't get to, there's just the one scene that he gets in the beginning. We see him and Harry clash one moment, and then we just see a lot of flashbacks of him like throwing Ollivander around, which I wish there was more of him, but what we did see of him was the most intimidating he's been in this franchise, so I'm going to put him at number 6. For the most magical part, I'm going to put the Deathly Hallows story actually pretty high, but I'm going to put it 3. I think it's like a really good telling of the story, and I enjoyed the story itself. I like the imagination of the effects and how it works. Yeah. And that's all I gotta say. So moving on to the last one. I don't know where anybody feels about the last one. Is it very truncated? Is it very stretched? We'll have to wait and see. I'm interested to looking at the heist for Gringotts. That's what I'm looking forward to. And to see what changes they did to the Battle of Hogwarts. I think there was, 3 Horcruxes to go? Because it was 7 in total. There was the journal, the ring, and now the locket, so 4. They destroy 4 Horcruxes? I guess if Thanos can get 6 Infinity Stones in one movie, we'll see how it turns out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Lazy Dude. See you in the last one. Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.